The first thing on the agenda is we're asking you guys what is the focus and why does it matter. So if you just want to start giving answers, and the theme is advancement. We want to keep advancing today. We want to keep making progress. So if anybody would like to just unmute themselves and say, what is the focus?
And there's a copy of the agenda in Basecamp that I sent out, so if you want to take a look at that too.
What do you guys think would be a good focus? And you know, we can talk about it. It's not like the first person who speaks, that'll be the focus, but we should collectively bring the focus together. So what are some thoughts?
I think the focus should be about finding consensus as a cohort and with our committees on how our project should be moving forward.
Anyone else? That was a good one, Veranda.
Maybe also like finding consensus, but also about like how our project should look, because I know the committees are all like branding, content, and stuff like that, and it's all about like how our project should look like.
Yeah. Anything else?
Which should we identify first? Which is, if one precedes the others, would it be consensus on how the project should look or consensus on how the committee should be moving forward?
Can you say that question again? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was too busy reading the feedback about my comments and how awesome it was. And thank you, by the way. I really appreciate the heartfelt feedback. The question was, which comes first? The committee moving forward, clarity on that, or clarity on how the project should look?
I feel like last time we made a lot of like advancements about how our project should look. So probably like what our committees need to do in order for the project to work.
Yeah, the project, if the end look of the project isn't already established, it probably should be established. Just because of like the whole POM method, you do the last thing first and then you can find out what you do in the middle.
So based on the focus, why does it matter?
Our committees are like I forgot what they're called. They're the little gears that make everything else turn. So if they are not moving, then the rest of the like project can't advance.
Awesome answer. Anybody else have anything?
I don't know if I worded this correctly, Ashlyn, but I think this was the gist. I'm not, okay, just making sure. Anyone else? Then what does meaningful progress look like?
Maybe like having a clear plan for what our committee should do next.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Ashlyn in the chat said figuring out what direction our committees need to go in.
I want to add one too, because I feel like probably other people will resonate with this. What about, I think meaningful progress would look like each individual knowing what they can contribute, like moving forward in their committee. Does that resonate with any of you? I can't see everybody's faces, but if you could walk away from the meeting today knowing, okay, I've got like a couple of things that I know I can engage with and within my committee, then that would feel like progress, I think. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So with that,
I want to pause there real quick. I want to say something. This process we just did is what I believe every committee should do when they first get together. I think you should hang out for a minute, connect, you know, greet each other, settle in, be on time, would be very respectful, and be prepared. And then just say, what is our focus? What's our focus today? And really get clear. And if you don't help guide the focus, then you don't get to complain later if the meeting didn't cover what you wanted, right? Think about it. Think about it. So, you know, then, okay, well, if that's our focus, why does it matter? Do you guys see, does anybody like question why we ask that, why it matters? Why should we ask, why does our focus matter? Why are we doing that?
It helps you like connect to your focus more, because if you're just doing something and you don't know why you're doing it, then like it can be a lot harder to want to do it or like have motivation to make progress. But if you know why you're doing it and you care about the why, then it'll be easier to like go forward with.
Right on. Cool, cool. And Krish adds, because if it doesn't matter, then it's not the correct focus. Right. There's better ways we can use our time together, our resources, right? So over your lifetime, you knowing this now, I mean, seriously, you're going to be like, oh, Adam, you know, your life is way too unexciting if this is a big deal to you. And that may be true. And that hurt my feelings and you shouldn't have said that, but that's okay, because the truth is that yes, it is a big deal. It really is. You're going to spend a lot of time in meetings, a lot of time in bad meetings, a lot of time wasted in stupid meetings. Sorry, meetings, you know, but that's the truth. But not if you do this. Not if you do this. So when you do it in your committees, don't be as lame as you were in this. You know, for those of you that didn't share, those of you who shared, totally unlame, opposite of lame. Those of you that didn't share, not lame, you know, just lame-ish. You know, but when you get into your smaller committees, I mean, you know, when you get in your smaller committees, it matters. So I want to reemphasize, when we do breakouts, it's not a time to be on other screens and stuff like that. You're needed. Your concentration and your focus. That's why we say, what is our focus? And why does it matter? And then now we're gonna move on, but I really want to emphasize this technique. And as we get better at it, we get faster at it, it starts popcorning. You're coming in ready already, your mind's already thinking it, and we're off to the races and stuff's happening and we're having a great meeting. It's fun. It's fun because we made progress and because Adam stopped talking, which he's going to do right now.
So with that, we want to move into the vulnerability circle. So the question of today is, what are 3 words to describe how you've been feeling lately? And we want to try to avoid good, bad, bored, tired, happy, sad, or thriving, because those are just kind of the top words that we use because they're in the forefront of our mind. But try to avoid those ones. Try to be a little bit more descriptive, and we'll go into breakout rooms and we'll have about 10 minutes to discuss. So just try to open up and go for it. We're here. We're supportive. We just want your open answers. So I will put the question in the chat, and then I'll send you guys into breakout rooms. Any questions?
Higher points for more interesting words, just saying. The fancier the better.
Any questions? All right. I'll send you guys into breakout rooms.
Is it just us in here?
What's that? I'm in here.
I'm gonna try to like tape a piece of paper.
That's pretty harsh. Yeah, you know what works perfect? Tinfoil will just block out the whole thing.
Actually, I'm gonna go get some.
Try it, see.
Okay.
Because,
all right, I'll be right back. Hold on.
all right, I'll be right here. You just go and get your tinfoil on. Ria, are you there? Are you just hanging out? Are you just lagging? All right, I guess it's just going to be me and Ems. We don't need to be recording this right now, I guess, because I'm talking to myself. That's looking a little weird.
What'd you say?
I was just talking to myself and it's recording and I'm like, that's a little weird. Why don't you not record?
Oh, I should have paused the recording here. Would you say generally that's because of school or like fatigue with like kind of having to like COVID precautions and stuff like that, or a little of both, or?
Well, for me, I've been quarantined for the past week and a half because I was exposed to someone. So I really can't like go play soccer with my team or really go to school. And I'm such a person who thrives around other people. So me being at home hasn't been the best. And so I felt so unmotivated to do anything, but to go back to school next week. So
yeah. That's some good self-awareness, Caleb, because I don't know if you saw Adam going like this, but I'm assuming Adam's head nod was because like, yeah, that is true of you, Caleb. Like you're an extrovert. You're somebody who gets energy from other people. So I can imagine that having to quarantine would be really challenging for you. Oh yeah, someone said mostly finals and yeah, so many of the schools have switched to online. So yeah. You guys have had to do a lot of transitioning back.
What about other factors too? Are there other factors in your environment that have also added, do you think might have added to the drain on your battery, or added to the effects of tests or being isolated or away from friends?
For me, like we have a big palm competition coming up, and so we've had a lot of practice, and we have practice for who knows how long tomorrow because we have to like film it instead of actually going to the competition, and we just film until we have it perfect, which is kind of stressing me out. And then I'm in a TCC class right now, and I just found out that my final essay got moved up, so now I have 4 days to work on it instead of a week. So that's stressing me out too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, quick question. Is Kaylee out of the room just so because she doesn't want to feel like she's disrupting the cohort meeting?
She's right
I'm
over
right
here.
here.
Oh, okay, good. I was going to say, because I'd like you to, I thought it'd be great to have you in the room, but now that you're eavesdropping without permission, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right. Hey, everybody, that's Kaylee from Cohort 12 if you haven't, Kylie, if you haven't seen her. So there she is. And she's just hanging out because, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Rhea and Kate.
So how's the circle activity for all you guys? How's the breakout rooms? How were the breakout rooms?
They were nice. It was like a fun way to just take everything that you were thinking in your head and kind of put it out there and take it off of your chest. So
Did anyone struggle to find like different words? I see some nods. Caleb? Really?
My 3 words were unmotivated, sleep deprived is one of them, and then just stressed. I mean, I'm not really stressed just because of school. I have that kind of handled, kind of not. It just depends on the class. But I've been quarantined, so it's just rough to not go out and see my friends because I'm a people person and I thrive when I'm with other people. And I also can't go out and play soccer, and so I've missed already like 3 games. So, but I also realized that the unmotivated part is probably because like schoolwork has just kind of been sluggish recently. It's kind of like inconsistent, I should say. And that's kind of like I overwork my stimulating myself, and then I just kind of like sit back and like wait for the next assignment. So
I like some of the chat and
Yeah.
Allie's point about like it's good to see that other people are feeling the same as you know. Some solidarity.
Did anyone hear any like fancy words?
I had to think of some, like, I actually had to look it up, a fancy word for excited. So I came up with euphoric. That's like the only, like, the fanciest word I could find.
Rowan used mundane, which was a cool little fun word.
Fun. Well, I think we can move on. And I'm super excited for this. But
Oh,
go ahead, Arjun.
I was just answering Emily's question. I was trying to say that I'm excited for break to come because I'm honestly so exhausted from school and having to do it online since March. So yeah, that was the reason.
Okay, so we're super excited, but we are gonna start doing this new thing to help organize our tasks within committees, and it's called the Kanban board. And I'm not even joking, this like made my week, probably my month. Like I love this type of stuff, so this was really exciting for me. But I'm just gonna walk through like how it looks, how we're gonna use it. And we decided to put a copy of our agenda on here too, so to kind of like demonstrate how it would work. So basically we have our tasks in the little like swim line thingy. So this is the agenda swim line, which you can like add swim lines by like clicking on here. You can just like click here, or yeah, you click here and it adds a swim lane. And then these are the tasks that are in the backlog. So these are tasks that need to be done. So we keep it in here. And then when you decide to work on that task, you move it to in progress. And you can see my cursor, right? Okay. So on the agenda, we already joined the Zoom call. So I already moved it to done. And the vulnerability circle, we just finished it. So I'm moving it to done. So basically, whenever we're on a task, so we're on Welcome to the Kanban board, it's in progress. So it allows for us to kind of see where all the committees are at and what they're working at the same time. And it's on our mirror board. So there's like a frame on here that you can click that goes to this board. And basically, we have all the committees on here. There's me and Kate, PR, partnerships, product, content. So right now I'm in progress. I'm teaching the Kanban. And basically whenever you get into your committees, which you guys will be doing in just a bit, but look at what is the focus, why does it matter, what does meaningful progress look like, answer those questions, and then make the tasks accordingly. So for PR, that could be choose a name. I don't know, I'm just listing things out here. Or choose a color scheme. And these can be tasks that you decide that your committee needs to work on. And whenever you're in the process of doing that, you move it to in progress so everyone can see what you're working on as a committee. And then whenever you're finished with that, you just move it over to done. Any questions so far?
Or even reactions.
Yeah.
I think it would be really I think that is going to be really helpful because you can see what everyone's doing and you can see what you're supposed to be doing, which kind of goes with what we said would be meaningful progress. So.
Anyone else? Well, I'm going to continue with some of the features that you can use on here. So whenever you click on your little like task thingy, a little bar comes up. I don't know why I was trying to point at it. You can't see my finger. So you have like a little board come up. And so on the more, you have like all these options, but there's like a little calendar thingy. So if you want to set date, so I want to get this done by, I don't know, December 8th. So it helps us see what's your target of when you want to get it done. And you can just move it on here, or yeah, whenever it's finished, just move it over. So that's one feature. If you want to insert a link of maybe like details or something pertaining to that task, you can add it in there. I'm trying to check the chat at the same time. Okay. And then if you want to add a signee, so if you want to delegate, let's just say, since this is the first person on here, I want to delegate this task to Michelle. Well, it'll go ahead and put Michelle's name on it so we know who's in charge of that task. So you can do that by clicking add assignee. If you want to use tags instead of assignee because you have multiple people working on it, so you can just click here participants, click on the tag if you want to edit it, I think, if it would let it, yeah. Or if you want to like make a custom tag, like, I don't know, fun. I'm coming up with random tag names. Okay, so maybe that's a tag that you want to use. So whatever works for you with the tags. And then I try to make each committee have its own color just so it's like aesthetically pleasing. But this happened to like turn it back to blue, so we can keep PR red, or yeah, whatever color that was. Yeah. And then here, if you want to switch the shape, for some reason, I don't know why you would want to do that, but if you want to, it's right there. And if you want to, if it's something where you want to just add notes or any details about the task right here, you can click on it. And so choose a color scheme. I think purple is fun and bright, and maybe you want to take your notes or do whatever you want to do instead of creating something on Google Docs or creating something on Miro. If it's just like a quick decision, a quick note, you can just add it on the task itself.
Could I assign the task to somebody?
Mm-hmm. So
could I assign
right
a date? Oh, wow. Okay, good. You're showing,
Yeah.
you said all that, I'm sure. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And so yeah, that is all the features that are on there. I'm sure there's more that I'm missing. You guys are smart. You guys will figure out more than me, but you can send feedback. Oh, never mind. That's sending feedback to Miro. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, if you want to take notes on here, you can assign color, tags, due date, but make use of the features that are on there. It really helps the rest of the cohort see what's going on in each committee and creates some sort of a unity for us when we're not being able to do committee reports, especially committees that work closely together. They can kind of see what's going on in each committee. But yeah, we really want to implement this, make this an active thing that we continuously do. That way, we can be more coordinated and aligned with each other. But yeah, are there any questions?
I just wanted to say before questions, as you make your tasks, keep in mind your outcomes, because if you have methods that don't match your outcomes, then you'll be wasting your time and your resources. So think back to your outcomes as you make your tasks. But I'm very excited for this Kanban. And fun fact, it's Japanese and it means signboard.
Yeah.
But any questions?
Yes, any questions? And we have the rest of the agenda on here, so I'm gonna try to actively move that if I forget. So I can definitely see this being used.
Wait. That's for everyone else.
Oh, okay.
You and Kate already know the answer.
That is true. I don't know why I tried to answer that.
Yeah, for everybody else, I just want think through how think further down the line. How can you see us using this tool to further your project?
I think it'll help us keep organized so that we don't forget what we needed to do, so we don't forget a step in the way on the way to getting to where we want to be.
Yeah. In year 3, it'll really be helpful for implementation and seeing how much we have left to do.
Yeah, how much we have left to do at the end. And then Caleb, I think, mentioned earlier that it'll motivate us to keep going when we see how much we've gotten done. Meg kind of said something similar to that. Yeah.
I think it'll also
Go ahead.
I think it'll also keep ourselves accountable. Because if we see if someone assigned this to us, then we kind of have to get it done and we have to keep going because we can actually see it.
Yeah, totally. Accountability. Yeah, you guys are using great words. This is exactly it. Organization, motivation, accountability, focus. I love that. Cool. How can you see Rhea and Kate, this tool being useful for your co-facilitators or for yourself as you are maybe you're in a role as co-facilitator next year? How would this be useful for that person?
I feel like co-facilitators are kind of in charge of a whole cohort. So instead of having to ask everybody individually what their cohorts are doing, it's just, what their committees are doing, it's just easier to see as a whole without complicating things.
Yeah, totally. And hey, Rhea and Kate, they know this it's tattooed on their forehead, but what does the word facilitate mean again?
To make easy.
To make easy, yeah. So that's something that Adam and I say that to them a lot because that's part of their job, or whoever is in the role of co-facilitating, is to make you all, the cohort, all of us working together to make the job easier for all of us. And this is a tool, this is a method for them to accomplish the outcome as co-facilitator of making this process easier for you all. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out because I, like Rhea, love stuff like this. Okay. That's all.
Well, I'm going to move the Kanban board to done. Let's go.
So next up is committee time. So we're going to put you guys in your committees and then we'll do the reports. So if you guys, like Sterling and Ava, if you want to hop on your own and we can go into committee time.
Yeah, it would be advisable for them to start kind of building out their Kanban. We definitely encourage you to ask the question again, what is the focus? Why does it matter? What does meaningful progress look like to help guide adding tasks to the Kanban? But yeah. I'm excited, guys. Are there any other questions? Go ahead, Kate, or whoever was talking. I kind of couldn't see.
Any other questions before we send you guys away? All right then, I will send you guys to your rooms. See you in a couple minutes.
And I'm gonna pause recording again.
Letter in that name, like one of our ideas was like bridge, and then have each letter in that like make like a word, but then we decided that that was like a little long and a little too hard, so we decided that we like the name, like we like link as like an aspect to the title. It doesn't have to be like just link, but we want to include link in there. And then for like potential logo ideas, we like wanted to we came up with an idea for a logo that's like two hands like this, like a linking together, and then either with like maybe like a chain link outline on like the hands, or like just the name like LINK, but the I is made out of links. And then, but yeah, so that's basically what we did. And yeah, does anybody else want to add to that?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. So
Yeah, are there any questions for this committee? Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like on the Kanban, we kind of went ham and we just typed out everything that we wanted to try and accomplish by the end of like whatever committee time we have, but not like this committee time, just like in general as a committee, what we want to achieve. And these are based off mainly the PR packet from cohort 11. So we just kind of went down and saw the descriptions that they had, and we thought of like what we can do right now and what we needed to wait for other committees to do, and then we can tackle. So the first ones that we decided to do were options for a name, which is what we already talked about. Option or like logo ideas, which is also what we already talked about. And then next on our list is probably deciding a color scheme, and we'll collaborate with like Allie on that since she's going to be helping us make the logo. And then the next is just a bunch of writing descriptions. So some of them we can do already, but some of them we might have to wait for like the functions committee. So then we can get a full idea of what our project will really be like for the user. Oh, I also want to add one thing. A great thing that we thought of about the link idea was that we're actually using website links to link people to services. So there's a lot of play on words of that.
That's cool. Hey, this is a detail that I can expand more on when you guys are in your committee, but in that PR packet, I want to make sure you capture the good place to start is what's called an executive summary. And I think it's in their PR packet. It's like a one-pager that you could say in one page, here's our mission, vision, and here's what we do, boom. And that's a great place to start. So be sure that you can add it on the Kanban or as your, I just remember that one-pager document sort of informs the whole PR packet. So it's a good place to start.
Are there any like questions for this committee? Then partnerships, if you want to go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to screen share, and then I think Rowan will present question mark.
Yes. Wait till he pulls it up.
Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah. So basically what partnerships did is we basically like separated like 3 areas that we should form partnerships in. And so our 3 areas were mental health, web developers, and media team. And so with the mental health, we just came up with a list of services and like groups that we could partner with. And then we basically just went and examined each service and like how they could benefit us and like what we could go to them for. And so like there's a bunch of different things and a lot of them are kind of the same, but then one of them, which one? Beam is really interesting because it focuses on the mental health and well-being of Black people. So that kind of incorporates some like minority things that like we wouldn't normally have or that often get looked over. And because I think we can all agree, especially in America, there's like trauma that can come with being a minority. And so we just thought it was important to include that and to include different aspects. And then for web developers, we came up with a list of possible like design people, but we ultimately decided that we need to understand like what we want more before we can pick one. And also we have to like evaluate like our price range, and also like what we want to do will influence the price. And then for media team, that was something that like we literally couldn't come up with anything until we knew what we wanted for like media, like if we wanted a video, if we wanted like a campaign website type thing. And so we thought it'd be best to wait until we heard from like branding or PR before we started looking into that, so we didn't look into like the completely wrong thing. But yeah, also Mira's been really weird today, but that's basically what we worked on.
Yeah, that looks great, guys. Are there any questions for this committee? And did you guys add anything to your Kanban board?
So I added for partnerships, I did finish media team, so that's still on our that's still on the backlog. We haven't started that yet. And then I put in the finish category, we finished the summary for web developers, and we also finished the summary for our partnerships for the mental health.
I thought that looked really nice. I loved the way you guys built out the grids to look at potential partners and stuff. Will you go to it again real quick? I don't know, Caleb, is that you screen sharing?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, Arjun, okay.
I think there's a frame for it if you want to get to it. It might be a little bit easier.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I love it. I think I want to challenge you guys to like develop your next step, like what your next moves a little bit more. Cause like, I mean, just if we're using this tool, the Kanban board, like, and I'm looking at it, there's only one task on there. And, but then when I'm looking at what you've done here, it's like, well, they've done a lot of work and surely there's ways to advance that. Does that make sense? So just to, and maybe even as a group, Adam or whoever, if we can think about what does, maybe after hearing from the other groups too, that would be helpful, but what more can partnerships be doing to like kind of move their gear, if that makes sense. I also have a clarifying question, I think, and that is, so partnerships is, you guys have got this mental health grid, web developers, and media, and this is why these meetings are important. with partnerships owning, looking at potential web developers, is there crossover there? Like maybe we need to hear from the product committee a little bit to see, like, is partnerships committee the one that's kind of owning that, or is product, or, you know, kind of, I can see how that task could get blurred between committees. Does that make sense? So just want to make sure that we're clear maybe at the end of the time of like products not owning that, partnerships is, or vice versa. That's all. Anyone have any thoughts or reactions to what I just said?
I wanted to also ask the cohort not on partnerships committee. Are there any other partners you could think of that would be relevant to the project? Rhymes with schools. I mean, don't you think schools would be in some way, you know, like maybe there's an organization over the schools, or maybe it's the counselors at the schools, or the association of counselors, or maybe it's student council. Maybe you want to partner with the student council of Oklahoma to get your program out to all the teens. You see what I'm saying? Get creative, thinking about partnerships. Maybe, you know, I'm going to tell you one that you're going to think is kind of weird. Cohort 2, they built a project around healthy dating relationships. That's how we met Emily. Yeah. So they partnered with Mazio's to get their message out on top of pizza boxes. See what I'm saying? Partnerships. You could partner with the fire department, so in all the fire hydrants, when people open it, out pours your message instead of water. Nothing risky about that. No, I'm just saying, you know, but like, think in terms of partnerships, you know, like get creative. The ones you have here are great. Yeah. And who else can help get the message out? Because think about it. Who do you want in your app to get to? You want it to get to everybody, people who aren't getting mental health services. Maybe these people only know how to reach a certain group of people.
Mm-hmm. Or are there digital partners? I'm thinking like you all as experts in teen culture, like what websites or web services are you guys going to that might be willing to like put a link to your service on there, or, you know, like the equivalent of how Cohort 2 used pizza box messages of like, you know, I don't know that that's really relevant anymore, but like, is there a way, you know, is there somewhere you go that would put ads for our website for free on their website? And we know that's a place that you know, you guys are looking up on your phones every day.
I think parents might be a really good market for this too, like parent teacher associations, you know, because they're all, let me tell you what parents and teachers are most worried about. Anybody want to guess what parents and teachers are most worried about?
How their kids are doing.
Exactly. So do you think they might be interested in what you have to say? Maybe.
I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Is that okay? Okay.
Any thoughts or reactions to that?
Yeah, like to Veranda's club comment, we could like do it in individual schools too, like at everybody's school. I don't know, be like, hey, NHS, do you want to like look at this? And then NHS could put posters up and be like, if you need mental health support, here's a place to go. Or like you could get it to go on your school's announcements or something. And like you could try to get PTAs to back it up and stuff, so that way it like reaches, because then teens are in high schools, and so then it would get the word out.
These are great ideas, guys. Partnerships, just keep digging. And the cohort, if you happen to find other possible partners, please share it with the partnerships committee. I'm sure they would appreciate that.
And see, that's what I like for you all to treat things, or how I'd like you to treat things. The committee owns that aspect of the project on behalf of the cohort, but the cohort has a say, you know. Now, I want the committees to be able to make decisions, and they don't have to get the cohort's approval on everything, or even on most things, but on big things like get feedback back to the first committee on the name link. Any other, did the cohort have any thoughts on the word link, or any other things they'd like to say? Oh, we'll combine this word with link, maybe explore that, or, you know. And it doesn't have to be now, or you can just send those things over, because just because you're not on a committee doesn't mean you can't contribute to that committee.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna go ahead and move right along, just so we can kind of stay on time. So content, if you want to go ahead.
I know Diani, sorry, and Saria don't need to screen share. Haley, do you need to? Okay. I do. So, because what we did is we all like reviewed or like made articles about our own like mental health services. So I'll just go ahead and screen share mine, because I kind of need to, how do you do that again? Oh, I see it. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, Haley actually told me about like Google Sites, and like what our committee did was we were just like working on different articles, and I think we each had our own like ideas, so we didn't have any rules, because there are a lot of ways that we can approach this. But how I approached it is like I downloaded like 4 mental health apps on my phone for like a week, and I just like used them and see what it was like, see how they worked. And so I had like just a small introduction at the beginning, because we don't want like there to be too many words, or else it might like not attract teenagers. But anyways, and then I just kind of like said like which one was best for what, like this was best for daily use, this was best for resources, best for like quotes, and then best overall. And then something that we were talking about was that like Haley brought up a really good point about how a lot of teens like don't know about Wirecutter. We feel like the original Wirecutter is more for adults. And so like Haley was saying how like we need to come up with a really good way to attract teens. And that was also on our board on Miro. I forgot the name, but like we're trying to come up with ideas to like try to make it more attractive to teenagers. And then also on our board, we were just like saying create more articles. And then Diani brought up a really good idea, and it was like a star system where we like rank things like 5 stars or something like on the App Store, which would be easier for organization. But we're still working on like a bunch of stuff. These are just like a few ideas that we talked about, and then this is what I had an idea for like what our articles could look like.
Okay, I'll go next. I just have everything on my phone because I forgot to put it on the thingy majig. So the app that I did was Headspace because I've already been using it. And so the way I kind of went about it was kind of like trying to make it like simple so that if we were to have like teenagers look at it, they could just like get the information they needed and go. So I just have it listed for good for anxiety. It's guided meditation, has guided breathing exercises, and can help with like restless sleep. It's useful for people with anxiety or having trouble sleeping. There's features. The best feature in my opinion would be the one for sleeping because it has like guided sleeping. And it will knock you out, like you're gone. And the guided meditation is great for when you're like anxious and having anxiety. It'll really help you calm down and just kind of mellow out so you're not like getting like, especially like during a panic attack. I've used it a lot when I'm having those. And then I did like a stars thing, kind of like a rating. I gave it overall like 4 out of 5 stars, only because like in-app purchases like mean you can't do certain things that have certain features. But like overall, even if you don't pay for it, you still get a lot of features with it, even without paying.
Right there, I like the contrast. I mean, one was a visual review, which I think is really important, clean, neat, organized. And then there was this sort of like personal, you know, testimonial or experience with it that I found really engaging to listen to, you know, like it made me curious, you know, like, first of all, let me just say, as I was growing up, people would not just come out and say, oh, when I have a panic attack, I do this, you know. Now it's different now. Now it's a different age of public awareness. So now we can crack the code to the next level so that now we're not living in secret now. Oh, I have panic attacks. Nobody else talks about it, so I won't talk about it. Now, not only are they out there more because this is part of your generation and what you bring to it. There's a certain authenticity in talking about what's real and not doing this hush hush, keep the family secrets, you know, in the, you know, and that's not really your generation. I know it's still there, but here, the testimonial of like, and this really helps with this. Like I found this, it just knocked me out, you know. It's like that's engaging too. So I like the experimenting with formats. It's really cool.
Anybody else from content?
I just want to add too that you guys are, even in that tiny little snippet, already proving that what you're doing is going to be compelling because you all are the ones doing it. Like what Kayla and Deani just modeled, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I want to check those apps out. And I'm not even a teen. So I don't know if you all, in hearing that as their peers, were like, oh, interesting. Maybe I'll download the Headspace app. Anyway, I just thought that was just a perfect little snippet of the power that could come with what you all are trying to put out in the world. So cool.
Are there any questions for this committee? Any comments?
I had like an idea of like, I think Kayla was saying that you guys are trying to find a way to make it more appealing to teenagers since Wirecutter initially is not really something that was directed at teens. I was thinking of just like, this is more of like a modern feature. It's something so small, but without it, it makes everything so much slower and annoying. Tagging features and filter features. So if like you have these description of apps, right, and you can tag them and be like, this one is more for sleep help or for panic attacks, so like that. So you tag them, and then whenever someone's trying to search up something that they want, they can use the filter feature and be like, okay, I only want to look at 5-star apps, or I only want to look at ones that help me sleep. And I think that would be really helpful just in general, because I know I get really pressed whenever I'm on a website, and like without that feature, it just seems so much more less modern and not with the times.
Yeah, I like that. Any other comments, questions, ideas? And in that case, we'll move right along to product.
Okay, hi. I'm gonna screen share the mural board, and then I'm gonna pass it to Chris, who's gonna screen share an MVP that he made. Okay. So, okay. Can you guys see it? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't see it. Okay. So what we have done is Krish made an MVP website using Wix, and it doesn't have like a bunch of details yet. It's just kind of the minimum viable product. And so we made a lot of progress actually in our meeting, and we decided that we need to talk with branding more about like the whole color scheme and aesthetic, because that's what they're doing. And then we also realized that Krish is the only one that can edit it because he made it on his email. And so we talked about maybe getting a cohort email for the domain so that we can all like work on it. And then we also need to talk to content about, adding the actual content to the website, because when Chris shows it to you, we just left a bunch of stuff blank for us to fill later. So yeah. And then he's going to screen share the actual website.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So yeah, using Wix, my Google account, I just created like a really like basic template of our website, and I added like our YPI logo. But again, like Sterling said, a lot of our name, our logo, and our color scheme is all subject to change. So we would need to talk to branding about that and discuss what they had in mind. So this is our home page, and I thought, this would just be like our name would go here, pretty standard stuff, the individual members, and possibly a picture of us. And at the bottom, just a subscribe form, not like a subscribe to service, just like subscribe, meaning like keep intact with updates and what's going on with our website. Oh, and at the bottom, I added our Facebook, so it links to our Facebook automatically, which is kind of cool. So then the next page is about page. And then this would be like our purpose statement, I think would be a good thing to include. And like the elevator pitch, which I think one of the committees is working on, like a short description about what, we're trying to do and trying to achieve. And I think someone else is going to talk about the resources page.
Yeah, so resources, it's basically going to be the core of our website, because having contact information and links to different websites, like this is going to be one of the most important pages on the website. So kind of like Veranda was saying, we were thinking we could organize things according to, maybe their rank or what mental health issue they associate with the most. And so obviously, of course, this is just like a prototype or an MVP. So we would need to add all of that information, which would come from content. But this is just going to be our page where we can kind of organize if we have contact information with, professionals who are willing to help. And of course, maybe not a phone number, but just an email or something that we could put on this page, and then having other resources to other websites that we could organize accordingly.
Okay, so this is just a contact page, meaning they can literally reach out to us with their concerns or issues. All right, next page is the FAQ page.
So this is the frequently asked questions, and so we can come up with a couple of questions that we think people will be asking a lot and like try to answer them. And then next is testimonials, and we were thinking of having like professionals like give their opinion of our website and stuff like that, so like to see that like this is like actually helpful and stuff. And then I don't know who's doing forum, but what's next?
Okay, and lastly, we have like a forum, which I thought was kind of cool because you can post a question and people can upvote it, respond back to it, heart it, just like a regular forum. And you can we as administrators have the access to delete, block, or if anything's inappropriate, obviously, whatever. And then you can sort by whatever. So basically, people can ask their questions. And then we also have a chat feature at the bottom. It says "Let's chat." I don't know if you guys can see that. at the bottom right, but that's just for people to chat with us. And then the last feature we have is a member thing. So people can log in with their Google, sign up with email or Facebook, and become a member of our website so they can, log into their forums and whatever resource they've already used in the past. And they don't have to, come up with new stuff every time. So that's basically it. But I think, like Sterling said, it would be a good idea to come up with a cohort email so that everyone can make edits and like content can add the resources they talked about, and the other branding committee can edit the color scheme and everything.
Yeah, this looks really great. Good job, guys. Yes.
It looks really good. Any thoughts, reactions, questions?
I was just gonna say that PR, we were thinking of putting an FAQ section in our PR packet, but we didn't know like what questions would be frequently asked. So like you guys said that you could generate some, but we were kind of thinking on waiting until we get like an MVP or something and then seeing what questions people ask about the project and then put those as our FAQs. And then obviously like we can update them as we get like as it goes on, and if there's more questions that we're like, oh, this has been asked a lot, we can obviously add that. But yeah, so we can like collaborate on that or whatever.
Yeah, we can at least wait until like content kind of fleshes out their idea a little bit more. I also just thought of like FAQs can also be like whenever we're introducing ourselves to partners and what kind of questions they ask us all the time. We could put that on FAQ because they do ask them frequently.
And so kind of regarding like colors and logo, of course, all of that is subject to change on what we had on this MVP. And I think Allie was gonna try to talk a little bit more about like some color and logo designs that she had been like coming up.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay, sorry, my mic has been working and not working and I don't know what's going on, but we have a couple different options. We have some stuff that we had worked on in the past, and then we also have what we've been working on this website, and we're thinking that we kind of want to make it kind of warmer colors that are more inviting, but still keep it clean. So we have a couple different options for that, and I'm working with Ria's group to make sure that we're all working together. And so whatever we have on our website, I'm sending to them, and then they're approving it, and we're just, working together. But we have some options from like February and then some new things, so we're just kind of trying to get that figured out.
And to add on to what Allie was saying, color changes are pretty easy. A cool feature on Wix ADI is that you can add like the hex number that I just figured out today. So like Allie told me a hex number of a color. Yeah. I just added it and it changed the color. So that was kind of cool.
So
you guys are so smart.
If you guys find like colors from, like you see a color on like an Instagram page or whatever, take a screenshot of it and send it to me, and I can pull up that exact color, and then we can get the hex number and see if it works well on the website.
And the same thing with the logo, like that can be like changed really easily. I just added the logo I found on the Facebook, so.
It looks really good. One question I thought of when you were going over it was like for forum. Will we have trouble with liability on that? I know we can take them down if they're like not suitable or appropriate, but we have problems with liability and then anonymity. Will people be able to use like their real names? I mean, I guess they would if they wanted to, but like just based in the forum area.
So once you're a member in the forum, you can choose to become an anonymous attendee and like send an anonymous question to preserve your anonymity. And about liability, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a feature to like proofread every forum question before it gets posted. But I'm not sure that would be the biggest Or that might be. I don't know yet. So that's a good question, Kate.
And another question would be, who would be moderating these questions? Like, who would be answering these questions in the Q&A section?
I think that's something where we could, yeah, like Chris said, either mental health professionals, or if it's something about like the website itself, we could have someone who checks the website weekly, monthly, whatever it is. And then once we pass it on to a partner, I'm sure they would appoint someone.
These are really good questions. One thought for every committee is to think about what professionals or what experts would you like to hear from within your committee that could help guide you in doing this? So that question popped into my brain because of what you guys are currently talking about, thinking, okay, well, the product group, maybe it would be beneficial for you all to have a Zoom call with a local, like, web developer or a company that does this type of stuff for people, their clients. And same for, any of the committees, for you all to just think about who would you like to hear from? What do you need to know? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to pitch these questions to somebody who's an expert in that field that's just wanting to help you all? So think about that. Maybe even put that on your Kanban as a to-do, like identify a local professional who could help us with this X, Y, or Z. And Adam and I can help you connect. You guys may know people, whatever that looks like. But this is one of the beauties of the Zoom culture now, is how simple I think it could be for you all to like ask a professional, hey, could we have 30 minutes of your time to, ask you a few questions about how to do this, so.
As far as the visual aspect goes, my mom has her own business, and so she has someone who does like her Instagram and her website and everything, and I'm sure I could reach out to her and she'd be willing to help.
That'd be great, yeah. Are there any other questions for this committee? This is a great job, guys. I love where we're at and we're making such great progress. Any other questions? We can go ahead and take a break then now. So yeah, we'll see you guys back in 5 minutes. Yeah, that sounds great, Krish.
it so we can have a little bit more, have more people speak, you know, smaller groups.
Oh, but
So the,
can I interrupt you for a second? Because I think we're gonna probably, I think Adam was gonna lead off with like a lesson first.
Oh yeah.
Is that right, Adam? You're muted.
Adam, you're muted.
But if we get into the I think the self-reliance stuff comes first, and then maybe, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let's do the breakouts real quick, and then we'll come back and hear what you guys say, and then take it from there.
Okay, sorry.
Awesome.
Don't listen to me.
Adam, if you have any questions to modify these questions, go ahead and please just put them out there. But some of the questions, one of the questions we had was, how can we relate self-reliance to our current situation, and how can we apply it to our lives, and how can we minimize the stress of the situation we're in? That's all the questions we wanted to ask, but we also wanted to review and like just ask you guys, what is self-reliance? Like, what do you remember about previous lessons about self-reliance?
Feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat, but yeah, what do you remember about self-reliance from Adam's past lesson? Anyone?
I remember like there was one part where he said something like don't wait for opportunities to like appear to you, like make those opportunities like happen. Like you don't wait for someone or something to give you something, and you need to go out and like get it for yourself if you want it.
Anyone else? Yeah, Veranda, that's, yeah. So being able to depend on yourself, but at the same time not isolating yourself from your community or peers. Anyone else? Adam, do you want to add anything that we're possibly missing on self-reliance before we break out?
No, I think self-reliance is, it also involves the opposite of relying on what everyone else is doing. Taking your cues and finding safety in what others are doing, without any thought on your own. Now, I'm not saying don't do what others are doing if it makes sense to do it, you know, if you've reflected on it and thought to do it, but not as an instinct, and not as a thing to guide you where you suppress yourself for the imagined expectations that your environment has upon you. And I think that's part of it too, because a lot of us really do, you know, look within yourself to the degree that you make decisions based on the expectations you think others have of you, that may coincide with the expectations you have of yourself, of course. But what about when there's a gap between the expectations placed on you and what you want for yourself? Or maybe there's an absence of expectations. Maybe it's not against expectations, just no one expected something of you, but of yourself, you want something from yourself. To what degree do you bring it about? So that's a little bit more on it. I don't know. Anybody else want to add anything? Did that trigger anything? All right. Well, go ahead into your breakouts, and then we'll come back and talk from there.
Awesome. I will send you guys into the breakout rooms, and I just posted the questions. Okay.
Good. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
They were productive, and at least in my group, we talked a lot. We were kind of on the same page. It was nice to hear everybody.
All right. Very good. So can you share with Emily and I, and for the how many groups did you break into?
Just two.
At two.
Two. Yeah. So Emily and I, and then the other group that didn't get to hear, could we have you share some of the things you took from it, or some of the key themes from what you talked about?
Yeah, definitely. Anybody from group 2, I believe, want to share?
Raise your hand if you were in group 2. Raise the roof if you were in group 2. Yeah, go Caleb.
For our group, we kind of talked about everyone's stressed about how being virtual for the rest of the semester, and how Ria was saying that she's kind of just taking like one step at a time, like 1 month at a time. And for me, it's kind of win or lose situation. So because I'm quarantined, but I get to go back next week. And like the past week and a half has really been rough. But I've been meditating, which has been helping, and working out because I can't play soccer or anything. But yeah, just having that kind of feeling that like you're looking forward to going back to school or seeing your friends kind of gives you hope. But we also talked about in terms of self-reliance, like basically taking on your own part of the group when it comes to committee time. Instead of piggybacking off of others, you have to do it yourself. So
really good.
Good. Thanks, Caleb.
We also talked a lot about like how it's okay to feel upset, or it's like okay to feel stressed, like accept that's kind of part of the acceptance period. It's the point like you feel sad, you accept it, and then it's time to be optimistic and move on and like try to find it. I think that's what Leah brought up, like having that moment of like, oh, okay, this really sucks, but it's okay, like it's time to move on. There's good things that are working, and focusing on that.
Something that helps me with that, a distinction I heard only recently, is to try to distinguish between the experience of pain and the experience of suffering. Because pain is not, it's unavoidable. You cannot avoid pain, in life. But when you experience pain, to what degree do you need to suffer with it? It's just a question that for me was helpful to play with. What else did you discuss in your groups? This is great.
Oh, go ahead, Leah.
Sorry. I
No,
just
go ahead.
I just had like an observation just from the discussion as a whole. Like, it's honestly just really comforting to kind of keep reminding myself that this is not like just my family struggling with it. Like, this is basically the entire world is struggling with COVID right now. And so it's honestly really comforting to just talk about it because other people are dealing with the same things. And so it just helps me be even more optimistic because like it's basically we're all in this together and we're all going to get through this together.
Yep. In our group, we were talking about how like we kind of forced to be self-reliant because school, like they're teaching us to teach ourselves, and like, and even in our daily lives, if we don't work on ourselves, nobody's going to tell us to do it. Especially now, but because everybody has their own personal problems like amplified. And then we were also talking about how like with stress, we know the productive ways to deal with it. We know like certain outlets would be helpful, but like some of them just they don't work at the time we would need them. We don't want to do them. So like there's like a disconnect there. Like we need like an outlet. But yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about.
Yeah, and we also talked about like mindset. Like some of us have like a really toxic mindset about like school and like don't give ourselves time to like have a break and like take care of ourselves. We're just like, no, I need to get my schoolwork done. I cannot have a break or I'm gonna get behind. And so we talked about like we need to not have that mindset, but also there's only like 2 or 3 weeks left of the semester. So it's also kind of like, can I just like be like have that toxic mindset for 2 weeks and then like not and start over in January. But yeah, and then we also talked about like stress relief methods, and like some don't work. And I said like looking at my Christmas tree makes me happy, and that's the only thing that like works for me, because I can just like look at it for 2 minutes and then go back and work on schoolwork and stuff. So it's like that's the only thing that's worked for me.
Yeah. Are there any other thoughts, comments regarding the activity?
I was just going to add on to that and say, you guys don't have to earn rest. I don't know if that, I'm just going to say it again. That was a phrase that has been like something I've thought about a lot. Rest is not something that you earn. Meaning, like, it's something you have to do physiologically, I believe spiritually, whatever category you want to put it in. It is not something that you earn by checking all the things off so that. And that, I don't know, just something to be thinking about. I know you guys have so much to do, but if you can think of prioritizing rest or self-care, whatever word you want to put in there, as it's not something you have to earn by finishing all of your work, but something that is of equal importance as your education and the things you're doing every day, then I think it would free you up to enjoy resting more and do more of it. So, anyway, that's all. But I know we only have like 3 minutes left, so do we want to jump into plus delta or anything? Oh, I just saw Allie's hand up.
Yeah, Allie, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I just have something really quick. It's in the realm of what we've been talking about, but like TPS, their semester isn't really finishing technically until January. So after we get back from break. And so like none of our teachers have said anything about finals yet. So I'm assuming that that's going to be after we get back. And if we're going to be in person, which we're set to be right now, but I don't think we will, then I know that's going to be really stressful for everyone who's in TPS, because I know for all of my classes, all of our tests so far, all of our tests and quizzes have been open note because we're online. So I don't know if finals are going to be like that or if not. So it's really stressful that we don't really know if we're going to have everything that we've been learning and teaching ourselves memorized, or if we're going to be able to still keep it open note. And I don't know, that's been heavy on my mind lately.
It's a lot. Well, with YPI and all of that stuff, we'll just figure it out. So don't let like the schedule here and all of that make you panic. Like, just keep us posted and we'll make it work over here. That being said, there are virtual meeting dates posted on Basecamp for next semester. So, and there's some flexibility there. Like we may have to just have the attitude of 1 month at a time. We'll go as far as we can see, and then we can see further. So I also want to just make this one little announcement from this point, I know we'll be meeting on Sundays, but stay connected on Basecamp, like set your notifications, because that's how I'm going to send out some fun announcements. Did you hear that? Fun announcements?
Yes.
About something fun that might be happening this month. And that's all I'm going to say, because you have to check your notifications to get all the information.
Emphasis on the fun. Let's do plus deltas real quick. Also, if you didn't see how I opened the little thingy so we can write on it, just putting that out there, you just click on it and there you go. You can take notes on it. So any pluses?
The what is it called? The Kanban? Is that what it's called? Or
yeah.
As a plus.
We were super productive.
We had really good conversation today.
Yeah, committees made a lot of Meaningful progress. The drawing activity. Anything else?
I think breaking up into like breakout rooms for the majority of meeting activities is really useful.
Feel free to shoot out some deltas too.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is just me, but it was kind of hard to stay engaged.
I personally
Anyone
thought it
else?
was really engaging.
So we have both hands. It's all good.
I don't know. For me, this was probably one of the most engaging meetings that we've had. I feel like the 3 hours flew by and we were really productive.
Yeah. Anyone else? Deltas, pluses? Well, I think we'll close off. Just a reminder, we do have an SPS on Sunday, so we'll see you guys then. The spring meeting dates are posted on Basecamp. They're right there, and I'll put those dates into the Basecamp calendar as well. We have, 2 weeks? Let's push through, guys. We can do this.
Yeah.
Let's go, team.
And there's something fun coming.
Yes, and there's something fun coming. So stay tuned. Make sure you check your Basecamp notifications because you do not want to miss this. But yeah, we will see you guys on Sunday. Great job today, guys.
Great meeting.
Bye.
Good job.
And
Bye.
bye.
Kate and Maria, that was great. Do you guys feel good about it?
Yeah.
Allie, what's up?
Good. Did you like using the Kanban? Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are trying to talk to Allie. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to jump off though because I have another call that starts at 1 and I have to go feed my children.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, Emily.
Okay. I'll
Have a
talk to
good
you guys
weekend.
later. Bye.
Bye.